Welcome to Wisdom Talk Radio, a collaborative community of explorers in conscious living. Welcome to today's special episode of Wisdom Talk Radio. Every other week, I am sharing pieces of Unconditional Remembrance, your connection to Source. I'm not reading the chapters in order. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm really tuning in each time to ask inside, what is it that I need to share today? And then to share that with you. So you know already that this is where we explore the depths of conscious living and what it means to live an expanded life. And certainly unconditional remembrance is the heart of that. And so today I want to read to you from chapter 3, entitled Loss. It was a few weeks before my 7th birthday. My brother was 5. We were sitting on my bed with my mother. I heard my mother's voice as if from far, far away, and she was telling us that my father died the night before. Bobby, that was my brother, began to laugh. That is the most powerful part of my memory. He was just young enough for death to be an unknown idea, so I imagine he didn't understand the meaning of my mother's words. Maybe he thought it was a joke. I remember crying, but I cannot feel myself back then. I see it like I'm watching a movie. We weren't allowed to go to the funeral, Bobby and I. They decided we were too young. Of course, nobody ever asked us if we wanted to go. And so I never got to say goodbye. I never got to see him in the casket, to see what dead looked like, and to feel, well, however it felt to me. That missing piece, that missing experience, hounded me for years, never allowing me to feel any closure. I didn't even believe he had died. I always imagined that he would someday reappear, or that I would at long last find him. But something occurs to me as I write these words. Closure was not what I needed. Connection was what I craved. My connection to him and through him, to knowing that I was loved. It was the experience of being special, feeling loved, feeling unique. These were what I longed for almost every day. The duality of my life, the split, that's the inner split, or separation of self, small s self, from self, capital S self, began in not allowing myself to remain connected with my father's love. With his death, when I was not even 7 years old, I was unable to keep alive the feeling of love. There was nobody that stepped into that void. Where was my mother? Stunned by his loss. Overwhelmed with the daily reality of 4 kids and no income and no life insurance. No time to breathe. She felt abandoned by my father. I was too young to know, or at least to remember, how she was before his death. But looking back, I am certain that then she just shut down. Survival became her focus. We were taken care of, absolutely, but I wasn't cuddled. She didn't delight in me in a way that would have filled my being. She couldn't feel love, so I couldn't feel it from her. I longed for some sign from her. It never came, and so I gave up. So if love wasn't in my environment to experience, then in my little girl self, it meant that love didn't exist. What nonsense. I know that now. But back then, I learned instead the ways of the outer world, with its rules that did nothing to satisfy the yearning of that little girl's heart. I became smart and skilled at reading others so I could know what they wanted from me, aware of the changes in those around me so I could adjust as needed. It's the reason that when people got quiet and pulled back, I would immediately imagine they were judging me. what I sensed as a lack of presence from someone disturbed me. I was stuck in focusing outward. I pulled away from the real truth, my connection with myself. I recognized the pathway that I carved so long ago, one that took me all around the outer physical world, experience by experience. Today, I realize that could only have taken me so far. But having barred the door to my inner world, where, of course, I would have felt that love that I longed to feel, I had no place to recover what I thought I had lost. So it was that I journeyed far away from the source of that love. From source. I spent years thinking I would find my father, imagining that he had not really and truly died. I think somewhere in me, some small part, I still feel that. The little girl who longs to have her father come home and see his eyes light up. So it was that I journeyed far away from the source of that love. From source. I spent years thinking I would find my father, imagining that he had not really and truly died. I think somewhere in me, I still feel that. The little girl who longs to have her father come home and see his eyes light up, ready to hug his princess. What is revealing itself to me now, and I really meant now as I was writing that, is that while I was looking for him, it was in all the wrong places. Join me in taking a breath. I don't feel as I read that as if I'm back there, but it's still such a memory that is alive in me in some sort of way. And so I share that with you today and leave you with that. Just be with that and see if there's any place in my story that you resonate with, that you remember where you turned away from your own inner experience of feeling and of being love. Until next time, next week there'll be an interview experience with Wisdom Talk Radio. And then the week after that, we'll have another episode of this, another special episode of Unconditional Remembrance. And if you've enjoyed this, please share it with your friends. Share it with anyone that you know that needs to hear it. And if you subscribe, you'll get notified every time there's a new episode. And remember, you can buy Unconditional Remembrance, the book, anywhere that you buy books. If you don't see it in your local bookstore, ask them to order it. Ask the library to order it. Why not? And we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us here at Wisdom Talk Radio. We wish you well in your conscious explorations. For more information and to join in the conversation, our website is wisdomtalkradio.com or at Wisdom Talk Radio on Facebook.